Michael, obviously still searching for that first win, but are you seeing progress despite the defeat at Blackburn at the weekend?
Yeah, progress in many ways. Yeah, listen, it's results are results, so there's different ways of judging it, but certainly for me and as the players and the group, for me first and foremost, see the effort and the application and the intent of the players and all the way through the game, even at 2-0 when it's on the back of the results, it can be easy to go the other way. But if anything, that kind of flipped us into gear, which is a little bit of a lesson, in terms of going behind in games and giving ourselves too much to do. Over a period of time, we've probably done it too much, really. And last season, at times, we were able to overcome it. But it's an awful lot easier if you can, get one foot in front or get one goal in front. So that's a good lesson for us. What we've shown in games, what we're capable of, and the problems we can cause when we're in that right state, really. And so looking to do that a lot more. Obviously, we've had spells in games. We need to put that together as a whole game and build on that.
You talk about that kind of reaction there. Does that give you heart then, because you've got the leaders in the squad and the character within the squad to hopefully get that first win?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Obviously, I know the boys. I've spoken a lot about that and the spirit in the group, and it's easy to say that when things are going well. Most camps, most groups, the energy and the spirit, and everyone's positive when things are going well. That's that comes towards me as a manager when things are going well. I'm fantastic. Players are fantastic. Supporters then fantastic because everything's going well. And then obviously when it doesn't quite go to plan, I get asked questions of, I'm tested. Players are then asked, what's going on? Are they good enough for this and that? And then it becomes challenging to the supporters, and for me that's the biggest test. If it finds us all out, what we're about when you have a bit of a tough time. And if anything, it gives you more extra motivation and drive and determination. Certainly for the players, in a position like that, you can see their reaction. And then on the back of the supporters to turn out in the numbers and support us the way they have, continue to do that, and will continue for the next few weeks in the away games, especially in terms of the numbers and travelling. So for me, that's a real powerful kind of sign that we're reacting in the right way and we're going about it in the right way, and it takes all of that to come together. And when you do come through it, it puts you in a strong position, knowing that you've kind of stuck together when it kind of in the real character are shown, so that's what I'm looking forward to seeing in the weeks to come.
So obviously Sheffield Wednesday endured a fairly similar start to yourselves. Does that then, it's not a 6-pointer yet, but hike up the pressure slightly on you and them?
No, for me it doesn't. It's not an all or nothing game by any stretch. It's another game. Of course, if you look at the league table and you're judging the league table now, which is very, very early to do, and history will tell you that how much does it mean at this stage when you look at it again at the end of the season. That's one way to look at it. The league, for me, it got to be a bit more level than that and assess as a group of players, individuals, what's going into the performance, how we're playing. One game's not going to sway my mind on that by any stretch. It's the next game. It's the most important game because it always is when it's the next game. But and obviously we're searching for a good result. We're searching for a win for many reasons. So, but in terms of where we are in the league at this stage, for me that doesn't hype the game up any more than it needs to be.
Kind of key term you used it a lot last season, whether you were winning or losing, is staying level. Is that the key for you? As you're looking to get this first win, just not getting too high, not getting too low, and just staying even. Yeah,
I think you've got to get a balance. You've got to be realistic as well, and you can't hide under the pillow and expect and hope everything will be fine. You've got to do something about it. But yeah, there's a way of kind of assessing that, and you've got to be in the right frame of mind to do that, as well as the players. You've got to be in the right frame of mind to then, in a clear frame of mind to then go and perform and suffer setbacks and come back, be able to carry on performing the same way when we've gone a goal up or 2 goals up, or we've won a couple of games on the bounce or whatever. You've got to stay level, and that's the only way I know, really, and we'll stick with that.
Thank you very much.
Injury-wise, how's Alex firstly?
Yeah, there's been 1 or 2 scans going about the last day or so. So as you kind of expect when games are coming thick and fast and you're quite quick at the moment, we're kind of assessing that and we'll see who's fresh, who's available come tomorrow night really.
Is Lucas back in training? You mentioned that.
Lucas has been back in training, yeah.
So is he available? Still.
Yeah, he's back in training. He's available, yeah.
And Alex Gilbert, he wasn't involved in side. Has he got an injury at all, or was that just?
No, he's not injured. No, Alex is a big part of the squad. It's just at this moment in time, we've got strength in numbers in certain areas, and unfortunately for players, I've been there myself. Sometimes you've got to sit 1 or 2 out, but no. So Alex is fine. He's training great. Actually, he's training really well. Change of club, change of experience for him, adapting really well. So we're hopeful and we're excited what's to come for Alex.
Was there an acceptance with Alex? As you said there, you have got a lot of players across those positions. I mean that he was coming in as maybe with a longer term in mind. That there's no rush with him. That you give him as long as he needs before he can hopefully have an impact.
Yeah, I think it's important for younger players to have that balance. But I think it's still important for you to believe that you should be in the squad or you should be in the team. You've got to have that. Inner belief and confidence that you belong at this level or you belong at a higher level, and I'd expect that from all the players really, and hope for that anyway. But surely there's definitely a realisation of where the current situation is, where the level is, where you're at. And as I said, Alex has been as all the boys have, to be honest. I've had to leave. Make some decisions, and there'll be more decisions to come because we've got a good squad, and at some point some are going to miss out, unfortunately for them and unfortunately for me, because I don't like having to kind of tell them that, because they don't deserve it in that way. But over time you keep doing the right thing, you keep working hard, you get your chance, you'll be ready to take it, and that's the main message.
When you say that kind of realisation and the young players you brought in, was there acceptance at the start of the season? I know obviously you'd rather be challenging at the top than where you are at the minute, but was there an acceptance at the start of the season that things might, that you might need to be a bit more patient this season, that it might not come as, not as easy, because I know it didn't, but you know what I mean, is might not be as easy to get results.
I wouldn't say I accept it, no. In terms of the situation, of course we're not accepting results. It's how you deal with them really is the important thing. And we got the group of players. Yeah, there was a fairly big turnaround in players, but and I've said it to you enough times now about how much I believe in them, in the boys, whatever age they are, and however long they've been here really. But there's certainly not an acceptance that it's going to take a certain amount of time. It's not needs to. We want it to be here and now. I think everyone does connected with the football club. Doesn't always quite happen, but we'll find a way. I'm convinced of that. And the players are good players, terrific players, really good squad. So we've got to keep pushing and keep getting better and improving as quick as we can.
And you've talked about how calm you are. Have you spoken to Steve and those above? Do they share that calmness? Do they have the same emotions?
Yeah, of course I've spoken to them. Yeah, he's not hiding from me yet. Of course we speak. Yeah, it's calm. It's an understanding of what we're trying to achieve and how we're trying to go about it, and working together. It's a big part of it, as I've said. But earlier there about me, certainly the players, the supporters, the club in general. We're all in it together. There's no me or them or players and the rest. We're all in it together and we're all fighting for the same thing. So we understand. There's a bit of a process, but at the same point for me, I'm not one for accepting kind of when it's not quite going your way. You got to do something about it, and that's my job, my responsibility. It's what I enjoy doing, and backing the players 100%.
Thank you.
You mentioned a lot there, Michael, in various answers about kind of doing something about it. You mentioned not hiding behind a pillow. When you're discussing that, I mean, obviously in your time here you have spoke a lot about your principles, the way you want your team to look, and I think that's being clear on the pitch. I mean, in these moments, is there a kind of balance that you take between, kind of trying to stick to that style, that way you want it, but also, maybe needing to refine things when things aren't going so well like now?
There's a constant questioning and balance of what's the right thing to do. not going to change the style of play because it's what I know, it's what I believe in. It's I wouldn't be the coach or the manager, or the staff wouldn't be as good coaches if we suddenly went down a totally different route, because it's what we're good at, it's what we know. It suits the players that we brought in playing a certain style, and but yeah, you certainly adapt, and the players can all do slightly different things and have strengths in different areas, and every game's different. This Saturday was end to end. It was a very kind of open, athletic team, and we adapted to that as best as we could, and we'll have to adapt again on Tuesday night. But that doesn't change really with results. That's still an ongoing thing, whether you win, lose or draw.
Yeah, and obviously you have spoken about, you're not one who kind of likes to talk about traditional positions in a sense, but obviously there has been quite a, it's fluid, but it has been a pretty similar structure throughout your time here. But are you somebody who is constantly looking at maybe we could change that a bit and change this a bit?
Yeah, I think we've changed a fair bit through the start of the season, to be honest, with the different players and different positions that we've played. So I've said to you to start with, position for me, it's not a big thing. It's a principle, certain spaces we want to attack, how we want to control the game in certain ways. So again, that's kind of ongoing, really.
Yeah, and obviously, you talk about how you want to attack that, but at the moment, no hiding from the fact that defensively it has been difficult this season. The worst defence in the league is unfortunately the fact that, I mean, presumably that must be something that you're focusing a lot on at the moment.
Yeah, to a point. Yeah, I think you got to be very careful of over analysing certain things as well. I think when you're winning, you don't necessarily over analyse why you're winning. You end up winning. That doesn't mean everything's going to plan. There's still parts of the team that aren't quite performing, but you're winning, so you kind of it's easy to just get on with it. And it's the same when results aren't going to plan. You've got to take a balanced view, and it's very easy to go down a rabbit hole trying to pick every little detail, and it's about prioritising. Of course, we've conceded too many goals. There's different reasons for that, and we're working on that. Of course, we actually haven't really conceded loads of chances over the course of the season, and even in games, conceding 2 shots, and some teams have scored 2 goals. So it's a couple of deflections, 1 or 2 own goals in there, and a shot from 35 yards. So when you start going too far analysing it, it can become quite dangerous as well. So we got to keep a clear head, which we have, and we need to improve. There's no hiding from that, but there's a way of going about it, is what I'm trying to say, and we need to kind of simplify it, if anything, and get back to not even getting back, just them little fine margins, putting them in our favour again, and it'll. I'm confident it'll snowball in the other direction.
Is it part of your role then as the head coach to sort of take the pressure off the players?
Yes, in a way. Of course, it's my role. The buck stops with me. I've been a player as well, and you got to go and perform. There's the expectation to perform from the outside, but more importantly from within. The boys have all got a huge amount of pride in themselves, and they know what's expected of them from themselves more than anything, and how good they can be, what they can perform, how they can perform. The biggest thing for me is how much faith I've got in them, and how much belief in it, and I know what they're capable of, and trying to get that out of them and being positive with them, because they're a really good squad to work with, and I know what we've kind of got here. And of course, it comes down to me to bring that out of them.
Some of the fans have been asking whether this is a time to look for those that with championship experience in the side as a core of the side.
6 games into a season, really, it's we're still building a group, we're still building a squad. It's quite interesting in some ways. Some teams through a season, maybe December, January, will go through a run and through the season where they don't get the results that they want, but kind of gets clouded over a little bit. When it's the start of the season, it feels a little bit more obvious, and in some ways, rightly so, because we got to do something about it. But if it was through December or January and we had a bit of a blip and a bit of a run, then we wouldn't be changing all sorts of different things. and we're certainly not going to start doing that now because it's a long season, and I firmly believe the direction we're going in is the right one.
And you think you've been emphasising here it's a time to keep together on this?
I don't even need to emphasise it, to be honest. I think it's there, obvious. I think we're all doing that as a club, as me, as a staff, as the players, as the staff above me, within the club, and certainly the supporters. You know, in terms of numbers and how they're supporting the place. So it doesn't need me to emphasise that. It's there, which is more important. You know, words are easy, but it's what actually happens in the actions that are most important and more powerful. And for me, I can see it with clear as day, and it gives me real encouragement.